In this video, I'm going to show you how to throw a complex form. I'll start just like I would start throwing any ideal pot by centering my clay, pushing forward on the mound of clay until it starts to get taller, and then pushing that cone down. I'll repeat this step a few times until my clay is centered. I know my clay is centered as soon as it feels like it's not moving around on the wheel. I'm just going to speed up the video until my clay is centered. Now that my clay is centered, I'm going to flatten the mound of clay. Then I'm going to add the hole, and I'm going to open the hole up. Because I am going for height with this piece, I'm not going to open the width very wide. I'm just going to open it about 2 or 3 inches. Next, I'm going to start lifting the clay. So I dig in with my hand that is positioned on the outside, supporting with my other hand on the inside, and lifting up the walls. Before this can become a complex form, it is first going to take on the shape of an ideal pot, so it will be a cylinder. I'm going for symmetry, and I'm making sure that the shape that is on the inside of the pot reflects the shape that is on the outside. And I'm just going to continue to lift the walls up steadily and keeping that ideal pot shape. As you bring your walls up, you are stretching your clay out, so you'll want to make sure that you keep adding water to your hands and to the clay in order to avoid any friction that could damage your pot. At this point, I am going to start closing the walls up. So before I do that, I'm soaking up the water that's on the inside with my sponge. And I'm just going to take a minute and correct the shape, make sure that it is that ideal pot shape and it's not flaring out in any places that I don't want it to. At this point, I am going to begin to alter the shape. I'm going to start by collaring, which is taking both hands and pressing inward onto the clay. This is going to create the neck of my vase. I want to do this gradually. Whenever you try to make clay that has been expanded smaller, it stresses the clay out and it can cause ripples or wrinkles. So I want to make sure that I'm taking my time when I'm pressing the clay in. Here I'm taking a tool because my hand no longer fits inside. I'm using my wooden tool to press from the inside out. And you can see at the very bottom of the vase that it's starting to expand. This is creating volume, and that would be the body of my vase. Oftentimes when you are creating a form that is a little bit more complex, you'll need to repeat those steps where you're collaring or expanding the vessel so that you get those dramatic changes in volume. Every so often, I will also just take a minute to correct the form. So if my top is getting a little wobbly or if the middle seems a little bit ripply, I'll take a minute and just kind of hold my hands on the outside to smooth it out. Here I am just extending the top of the vase because I collared the vessel to make it come inward, the thickness of the walls got a little bit thicker, so I'm just using my fingers to pinch and pull the clay up. Now I'm just correcting the form from the inside out with my wooden tool, and then I'm going to correct the top again. As I start to finish this vase, I decided that I wanted to make it even more complex by creating a segment so that it has a second area that sort of juts out and then comes in. Here I am taking a needle tool and I am simply cutting the very top of this so that it's even. So I first start by drawing, and then I press the needle tool a little bit deeper into the wall, and then it eventually will come off. Then I'm just going to smooth out the surface to finish off my lip. And I'm going to finish this vase just by cutting off the excess clay on the bottom. This step is called undercutting, where I remove the clay that fuses the pot to the wheel. So I'm using my wooden tool to do this. And I am also going to use my wooden tool just to smooth out the very top of this vase and make it flatter. I like to finish my pots on the wheel by taking a metal scraper and removing the excess slip. It makes it easier to handle. This is not a required step if you're throwing on the wheel, but it is just something that I learned to do that I enjoy. Here I am just adding some finishing touches and smoothing out some parts of my segmented complex form.